Welcome back to Midnight Narratives, where the shadows don't just stretch longer at night, they whisper. If you're new here, hit that like button, subscribe, and grab your snacks, because tonight's story, yeah, it's cursed. Allegedly. Maybe. Definitely. You be the judge. Now, before we get into this, a quick warning. This episode contains death, unexplained circumstances, and some allegedly haunted objects. So if that's not your thing, maybe sit this one out. Otherwise, let's dive in, babes. Okay, so you know when people say, don't touch haunted stuff, like, even if you don't believe in it, there's a little voice in the back of your mind saying, maybe don't? Right? Well, not everyone listens to that voice. Tonight, we're talking about someone who didn't just touch the haunted item, he dared it to do something. His name was Lee, and he was a ghost hunter from the UK. He was one of those people who lived for adrenaline, but not in the way you'd find skydiving or climbing cliffs. He chased ghosts. He and his partner ran a small but passionate YouTube channel dedicated to the paranormal, ghost hunts, haunted item unboxings, all that good creepy content. He was likeable, smart, a little cheeky, and he had a growing following of people who loved his energy and confidence, especially when it came to haunted objects. Now, Lee had a thing for cursed dolls, specifically one very famous one, Annabelle. You've probably heard of her. The demon-possessed Raggedy Ann doll locked away in Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum. Not the movie version, the real-life one that's supposed to be responsible for a ton of creepy things, attacks, possession, even death. People say the real Annabelle is so dangerous she had to be locked in a glass box, blessed by priests regularly, and literally has a do not touch sign hanging from her little cursed self. And yet, people still try to provoke her. Lee decided to do an entire video about Annabelle, not just talking about her, but actually bringing a replica doll onto his set, one he claimed had some sort of link to the original. Whether it was made from similar materials, had come from a haunted location, or just carried bad energy, he said he could feel something from it. And then he did the one thing you probably shouldn't do. He challenged it. In the video, Lee holds the doll up to the camera and says things like, if this thing really is cursed, show me, do something. He laughs, says he's not afraid, says it's just a doll. But if you watch closely, and I did, there's this moment, maybe 12 minutes in, where the mood shifts. His laugh becomes a little forced. He glances off camera like he's hearing something. And I know, maybe it's acting, maybe it's nerves, but it's just off. Anyway, the video ends with him saying he'll sleep in the same room as the doll and report back the next day. He never did. That video was the last thing Lee ever posted. Just a few days later, Lee was found dead in his apartment. According to reports from his partner, he hadn't complained of feeling unwell. There were no visible injuries. He was 35 years old, fit, relatively healthy, but he was just gone. The coroner listed the cause of death as sudden cardiac arrest. No drugs, no alcohol, no history of heart issues. He died in his sleep, peacefully, they said. But what shook people up was the timing and the doll. Because when his friends and family came to clean out his apartment, the Annabelle replica was nowhere to be found. Not in the studio, not in storage, not in the trash. Just missing. Now, depending on what you believe, this is either nothing or it's everything. The paranormal community immediately jumped in with theories. Some said he'd taunted a spirit. Others believed the doll had an attachment that didn't like being mocked. There were dozens of comments on his final video warning him not to mess with it, people begging him to take it seriously. Some even said they had bad luck after watching that video. One person said their phone caught fire while playing it. Another claimed their pet started acting terrified and wouldn't enter the room for days afterward. And, well, yes, these are internet comments. The sheer volume of them, it gets under your skin. What really pushed the narrative over the edge, though, was a live stream he'd done a week before his death. In it, Lee casually mentioned that he felt watched all the time now, that even when he was alone in the flat, he didn't feel alone. He joked that the doll gave him weird dreams. But in hindsight, it didn't feel like a joke. One of his friends later said in an interview that Lee had changed in the last couple weeks. He was distracted, jumpy, constantly checking shadows. He said Lee told him he had started hearing footsteps when no one was home, and doors would creak open by themselves, stuff that had never happened before. Now, let me pause and say, is it possible he was just stressed? Sure, running a paranormal channel, editing late nights, dealing with the pressure of content. All of that adds up. But heart failure at 35, with no warning signs, it's just strange. The doll, where the hell did it go? There are a few theories. 1, someone took it. His partner? Maybe. A friend? Possibly. 2, maybe Lee got rid of it, sensed something was off and trashed it. But why not say that on camera? Why not follow up? Or 3, and this is the one that keeps me up at night, maybe it left on its own. Some people believe objects can hold energy, that they can absorb the emotions, trauma, and intentions of people around them, and that sometimes, if you invite that energy in, it doesn't leave with the object, it stays with you. Which brings me back to Lee. He wasn't a newbie. He knew the risks. He had joked about possession before. He'd even done cleansing rituals in previous videos. But with Annabelle, it was different. He taunted it. He dared it to do something. And then he died. Coincidence? Sure, maybe. But you know how sometimes you hear a story and your gut just knows there's more to it? This is one of those. The comments on his last video are still open. People still post tributes, warnings, and stories of their own experiences. Some say they dreamt about him. Others say they felt chills when watching. Some claim their lights flickered, their electronics died, or they got sick. It's easy to write off as internet hysteria, but it's also hard to ignore how many people felt affected by just watching him talk about the doll. Not even touching it themselves, just watching him. And if that's true, then what does that say about the energy inside that replica? Lee's channel was never taken down. His videos are still up. That final video? It's still there, with over 500,000 views now. People still click play, still comment, still ask the same question we're all asking right now. Was it real? Because whether you believe in cursed dolls or not, this story has one thing that haunts me more than any ghost ever could. The silence. The way a vibrant, curious, skeptical, alive person can suddenly just vanish. No signs, no explanation. Just a quiet, terrible end, wrapped in shadows and mystery. And maybe a little doll-shaped curse. And that's tonight's tale from the darker side of YouTube. What do you think? Was Lee's death a tragic coincidence, or did he really awaken something sinister with that cursed doll? Drop your theories below. I read them all, and some of you are wilder than the stories themselves. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay curious, but not too curious, especially when haunted dolls are involved. Until next time, keep the lights on. Or don't. Your choice. This is Midnight Narratives. Sleep tight.